This week on WestfordCAT News, peaches, nectarines, and apricots are in season at Hill Orchard. The Fresh Air Kids are back in town, and the day school now has a sentimental brick walkway.
Yeah, as I'm looking at these bricks, here's one, the Nastasias. I can remember having Kevin Nastasia here as a middle school student back in the 1980s. That brick is from himself, his wife, and his daughter.
I'm Chris Steinhauser, a WestfordCAT volunteer. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to sign up for our email alerts. To get our latest Westford news articles, just visit westfordcatnews.org and click on the red subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner. Just over a dozen Fresh Air Kids arrived in Westford on July 29th. Here's production coordinator Patty Stalker with more.
There were many smiling faces as the Northwest of Boston Fresh Air Committee welcomed 13 New York City children to Westford on Monday, July 29th, as their bus arrived at Neshoba Valley Technical High School. The kids, aged 7 to 18, will begin a one-week stay in the suburbs with their volunteer host families. Families from Winchester, Westford, Wilbraham, Boxford, Littleton, Newburyport, Chelmsford, and Acton greeted their house guests with signs, high fives, and hugs. For some kids, it was their first time spending a week away from home, but for others, they were returning to visit the same host family that they have for years. The Fresh Air Fund is an independent nonprofit agency that has provided free summer experiences to more than 1.8 million New York City children from low-income communities since 1877. Each summer, thousands of children visit volunteer host families along the East Coast and southern Canada. For more information on the Fresh Air Fund or to find out how you can be a host family, visit freshair.org. For WestfordCAT, I'm Patty Stalker.
The peaches are ripe and ready to eat at Hill Orchard. Here's Farmer Dave Dumaresque with an overview of what's available inside the farm stand.
Well, we're having a beautiful harvest of peaches right now. The nectarines, these are the first that we've eaten this year, just today. The peaches are just starting. We finished picking the apricots last week. Apples are probably about another 3 to 4 weeks away. By the end of August, we'll be picking a lot of good varieties.
Will there be apple picking?
Oh yes, the apple picking usually starts just after Labor Day and goes right into October, and we have a beautiful crop of apples this year. So this is a nice white flesh nectarine. It's one of my favorites. You can see here we have a yellow flesh peach. We also have a white flesh peach and a yellow flesh nectarine. We grow a wide variety of several different varieties of both of these different types of fruit, and that will allow us to be harvesting pretty much for about a 6-week period on these two.
Hill Orchard also has a community-supported agricultural program, usually called a CSA. Here's Dumaresque listing what's offered.
The best thing is to have your own backyard garden. The next best thing is really the CSA. To get together with a farmer like me to grow your food. You know who your farmer is, where your food's coming from, and we grow such a wide breadth of different crops, from tomatoes, corn, beans, watermelon, cantaloupe, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, all the different fruit you see here, carrots, beets, radishes, kohlrabi, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, and on to include all your different varieties of peppers and eggplant and things like that as well. We have about 50 families that pick up here at Hill Orchard every Friday afternoon from March through into December, and they just love getting this wide variety of product. A lot of the apples we put into storage and that are harvested right here for the members to get in December, and again in March, April, May, and right into June until the next year's fruit crop starts.
For more information, visit farmerdaves.net. Volunteers installed bricks at the day school last week. Donated by members of the community, The 275 bricks helped to pay for a new playground at the elementary school. The $160,000 project was completed in November. Here's day school retired principal Kevin Regan, who oversaw the fundraising effort, showing WestfordCAT News Director Joyce Polino Crane some of the bricks.
Yeah, as I'm looking at these bricks, here's one, the Nastasias. I can remember having Kevin Nastasia here as a middle school student back in the 1980s. That brick is from himself, his wife, and his daughter.
Oh, how wonderful.
Each of these bricks tells a story. Here's one, a very dignified person in our community, Ellen Hardy. Appreciation of Ellen Hardy from Congregation Shalom. There's a person that has just an incredible impact on our community. Another one here, former third grade teacher Linda Lemire, former student, her son Mike Lemire, and then Harry Lemire was a real advocate for our school, used to help out at the annual pasta night. The Lemire family, Harry, Linda, David, Michael, Katie, Evan, and Noah, be happy, have fun. Each one of these tells a story where memories are made. Enjoy the Anselmetti family. Michael was a student here many years ago when it was in elementary school, as it is now. Here's another one, Bamboo, fine Asian cuisine, sushi bar. That was our most successful restaurant fundraiser.
Under the playground pavilion, more bricks are being assembled.
We're partially done with this part of the project. We call it the pavilion. In this area, children are going to be able to sit down at one of the 4 tables, and there are benches that will attach to the stanchions that you see, and the kids can sit here and socialize. They can play a board game, they can have a snack, they can read a book, they can do any of that. One of the nice features with the brickwork here is the DAY, Dave and Margaret Murray. So skilled. They do this as a hobby. They could do this professionally and have a very lucrative, high-quality business.
And Margaret was, at one time, a member of the school committee.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that this weekend. She was on school committee here in our town of Westford for 15 years. So both of them are real givers. They're the ones that did the installation of the bricks at the Abbott playground. So just incredible work that they've done. High quality. They were helping volunteers understand how to do this work so it would have a quality outcome. So I'm just so pleased and extremely thankful that there's such giving people.
Stay tuned to WestfordCAT for any updates. 74 years after his death, Westford Fire Commissioner John Edwards finally got a grave marker at the Fairview Cemetery on Main Street. Firefighters David Christiana and Sean Ricard placed a memorial stone on Edwards' grave on July 30th. Here, Christiana tells Crane the story.
So this tombstone is actually a project that I've been working on for a while, or wanting to work on for a while, but it's so busy it kind of got put back for several years. It's actually the headstone of a founder of the fire department. In 1907, the town decided they wanted an organized fire department, and they appointed three citizens in town as fire commissioners to actually establish a fire department to protect the residents from fire and catastrophe. So John Edwards, whom this stone is for, was one of 3. He lived in Forge Village. He actually was born in England in 1869. Moved to Westford, I'm not exactly sure what the date was, but moved to Westford, longtime resident, and he was in charge of establishing Forge Village section of the fire department.
Christiana said he wanted to place a flag for Edwards on his grave, but couldn't until there was a grave marker.
While doing these cemetery markers, I came out here to place one at John Edwards, and I couldn't find him. And the cemetery department said, no, he's there, he's in this location. And so I came here and I looked around, and I'm looking around and I'm like, nope, there's no Edwards here. And I called the cemetery department again, and they looked it up, and they came out here and they realized that he didn't have a headstone. and I don't think he ever had one. He was buried in an unmarked grave.
So you fixed that.
Yeah. Like I said, I felt like one of our founders, he's in the midst of other fire chiefs, one of his co-commissioners right there, and nobody knows it. And I wanted to honor him because he helped establish the fire department as today, and I wanted to place a flag somewhere, and I couldn't just place it randomly in grass.
In grass.
Yep.
So tell us, we noticed that his wife's name is blocked out.
Yes.
And can you explain that?
So a friend of mine this happens to be her great uncle, she remembered that his wife's name was Sarah. Mm-hmm. And after doing more research, I had already placed this. I realized that his wife's name was not Sarah, it was Laura or something else. And I felt like I had to get rid of it because he's not buried here with Sarah, he's buried here with his actual wife, so.
So you'll fix that in the future,
Yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
We'll find out the real name.
Exactly.
The project was paid for by the Westford Remembers Memorial Fund. National Grid officials are looking to trim and remove trees along power lines in town to reduce the number of power outages during winter storms. Here's Assistant Town Manager Eric Heidemann receiving a rundown from Highway Superintendent Chip Barrett.
Good afternoon. Today is July 31st, 2019. This is Eric Heidemann, your Assistant Town Manager, and I'm here with Richard Barrett, our Highway Superintendent. So we are here today at the Robinson School to discuss a plan that was proposed to do some tree trimming in town by National Grid. So with no further ado, I'd want to turn it over to Mr. Barrett.
Good morning, everybody, or good evening, or whatever time it is you're watching. What National Grid has proposed as a result of hearing with the Department of Public Utilities, which regulates companies like National Grid and other utilities, is to improve the electricity distribution throughout the town of Westford. Basically, the National Grid program right now consists of doing a safety zone cut. Here, just a quick drawing of a telephone pole. They do a safety zone cut around the tree, leaving the lower vegetation and cutting out a safety zone so the animals and the tree does not come in contact with the line. With their proposed cutting is going to be an enhanced vegetation management system that they're going to cut approximately 8 feet out from the closest line on their pole, 8 feet out, straight down and over, and all the vegetation in this area is going to be removed. By removing all this vegetation, trees won't be growing up into it, and there will not be a chance of the tree coming into contact with the wires. This proposed project is on a feed coming out of the Concord Road transmission station, substation. It's proposed to go through Graniteville and Forge Village, and then down Route 40. Because it is 16 miles of three-phase that they want to trim, the project has been broken in half to present this to the town. Here we are on Concord Road in the area of Robinson Road, and as you can see looking up the street, you have a row of telephone poles. From the wires up above, out 8 feet and straight down would be the area that they'd be cutting and taking out that vegetation. Looking down towards Forge Village, you can also see that same row of trees. Any tree that be hanging over or underneath the pole line or within 8 feet of the top wire closest to the vegetation will be removed. For example, this large 2 foot wide elm tree will actually be taken out. And this will provide the clearance that's necessary to help ensure a power grid that is sustainable to storms. And any of the trees that have red ribbons on them are slated to be removed, and any of the trees that have blue ribbons are slated to be trimmed.
Well, thank you, Chip, for all of that great information. So we are very interested as a town in, determining if all the removal of these trees is really necessary, how many in fact, and there's a public board hearing that's going to be on August 20th at 7:15 p.m. at the Board of Selectmen meeting room at the Town Hall on the second floor. So if you have interest, please feel free to join us. We hope to have you there.
Stella, an 11-year-old low-key pit bull mix, likes her belly rubbed and a couch to sprawl out on. She's available now for adoption at the Lowell Humane Society. Here's Patty Stalker with more.
If a low-key companion who likes belly rubs and chilling on the couch with you sounds stellar, then Stella is a match for you. Here's the Lowell Humane Society's volunteer coordinator, Marie Belarjon, with more on this 11-year-old pit bull mix.
This is Stella. Stella is an 11-year-old pit bull mix. She came to the shelter because her owners were not able to afford her medical care. Stella is an older lady and she has some age-related joint issues. Makes it a little bit difficult for her to do things like stairs and stuff like that. Kind of needs a shorter walk, but she's an absolute love of a girl. She just kind of needs a little extra TLC. Stella would do best in a home with teens and adults. She's a very sweet girl, but likely would not appreciate the energy and kind of rambunctiousness of young children. She would likely do well in a home with dog-savvy cats, so cats that have lived with dogs before, and would likely do well in a home with another dog, although she does kind of have a lower energy level, so probably not the best fit for a really high energy, wanting to play all the time kind of dog. We are requiring a vet reference for Miss Stella based on the hip and joint issues that she has, just so that we know that her owner will be in touch with their vet, kind of make sure to keep an eye on her comfort level. She's an absolute great girl. Some of our volunteers' favorite things about her, she loves food. Definitely nothing wrong with this lady's appetite. She loves to roll around in the grass. She likes to really get a good back scratch in like that. And she's just in general a very sweet girl. You do kind of have to earn her affection. She's knows her own mind, if you will. But once you are in, you're in big time with her.
If you think you'd like to provide Stella with her forever home, or would like more information on donating to or volunteering at the Lowell Humane Society, visit them Tuesday through Sunday at 951 Broadway Street in Lowell, or go to lowellhumanesociety.org. Call 978-452-7781. You can also find them on Facebook. For Westford Cat, I'm Patty Stalker.
All right, sweetheart, let's go this way. Good girl. Gonna have one more throw at the ground.
What perfect beach weather we've been having. Let's hope the weather holds up for us this coming week.
I am Betsy Alvarez, a WestfordCAT board member. Here's what's happening around town over the next few days. The Lowell Humane Society is teaming up with Etching by Liz for a glass etching fundraiser at 7 p.m. on Friday, August 16 at Lowell Makes. Join other pet lovers in etching a piece of glass with a design of your choice. Choose from a pint glass, mason jar, stemless wine glass, or vase. All materials are included in your $25 registration fee. Lowell Makes is located at 47 Lee Street in Lowell. All proceeds benefit the Lowell Humane Society. For more information, visit lowellhumanesociety.org. The Beach Boys are coming to Boarding House Park on Thursday, August 15 at 7:30 p.m. Led by Mike Love and Bruce Johnston, the band has reached legendary status with songs like Wouldn't It Be Nice and Help Me Rhonda. Purchase tickets in advance for $64 at lowellsummermusic.org or for $70 each on the day of the concert. The J.B. Fletcher Library's knitting group meets on August 12th at 3 p.m. If you enjoy knitting, this informal group could be just the thing for you. The group meets on the second Monday of each month from 3 to 5 p.m. and on the fourth Monday of every month from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. This drop-in program is open to all ages. If you have questions, call Sarah Reagan at 978-399-2309. Back to you, Chris.
That's it for now, Westford. We leave you with images of Hill Orchard at the intersection of Hunt and Chamberlain Roads.